Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Chief Patrol Agent A.Hull, and I'll spell that out for you. It's A.A.R.O.N.H.U.L.L. We'll begin this press conference. Please refrain from any Q&A until he's done with his speech. At that time, he'll entertain for a few minutes a few questions. At this time, I'll turn it over to Chief Patrol Agent A.Hull. Chief.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the fine men and women of the United States Border Patrol. Thank you for joining us for this important event. As many of y'all are aware, the U.S. Border Patrol is charged with securing the border between the ports of entry. We enforce federal law to prevent the illegal entry of aliens, smugglers, human traffickers, narcotics, and terrorists. While conducting our enforcement efforts, we often encounter individuals who have fallen into distress while effecting their illegal entry. These could be individuals who have been abandoned in the desert by their smugglers, or they could be individuals whom we have to pull from the waters of fast-moving canals with our swift water rescue team. We also encounter individuals trying to enter the United States carrying infectious diseases and other contagious health conditions into the country. We stop these individuals at the border and prevent health threats such as tuberculosis, chickenpox, scabies, lice, and other conditions from entering nearby communities, people's neighborhoods, and children's schools. Individuals seeking to enter the United States are required by law to present themselves at a port of entry for an immigration and customs inspection. The U.S. Border Patrol's mandate is to gain operational control of the border. That means preventing these illegal entries between the ports. There are three major elements of operational control. The first is situational awareness, which is knowledge and understanding of the border environment. The second, impedance and denial, is our ability to slow, stop, or contain these illegal entries. The third, response and resolution, is our ability to respond to these entries in a timely manner and to effect the appropriate law enforcement consequence for illegal entry. Some of y'all were with us in April in Santa Teresa, New Mexico, when we announced the construction of 20 miles of new border wall. The construction of physical barriers to entry is part of a comprehensive border security solution that includes agents, lighting, cameras and other technology, all-weather roads, and the proper application of law enforcement consequence to illegal entry. The need to enhance our border security efforts is clear. If you compare last month, August, to August of 2017, illegal entries are up 52% across the southwest border. Here in El Paso sector, if you compare FY17 to FY18 year to date, we've seen a 61% increase in the entry of criminal aliens. Prospective illegal entrants are being encouraged by loopholes in our immigration laws and our immigration court system. Among those encouraged by these loopholes are individuals and families claiming asylum, with the knowledge that they will be scheduled for future court hearings. They are routinely released from custody and told to return for these court hearings. Most of them never do so. This situation is known and understood by the smugglers and the people paying them to enter this country illegally in order to circumvent our laws. In April, when we started building 20 miles of new border wall in Santa Teresa Station led El Paso Sector in apprehensions. We determined that construction of a new barrier would help us reduce illegal entries and make more effective use of our agents and other resources. The projected end date for the Santa Teresa wall construction project was March 2019. As of this week, all of the wall panels have been put in place in that 20-mile section of wall. We are now completing some other elements of it, such as adding concrete, a couple of gates, improving the roads. We are already seeing positive enforcement impacts from this effort, an effort that will be completed months ahead of schedule. This is a credit to the contractors, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the many others who assisted with this project. We said we were going to build it, and we built it. Now we're moving on. We are standing in the Chihuahuita neighborhood of El Paso. This neighborhood is over 400 years old and is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the country. In the 1980s and early 1990s, crime was rampant here. This area was known for high rates of theft by criminal gangs that operated on both sides of the border. Alien and drug smuggling were out of control. The residents, the families, and the businesses here suffered the impacts of this crime. So in 1993, we implemented Operation Hold the Line, which was an increased agent presence in efforts to improve the infrastructure that was in place. Some criticized us for taking this approach when we took it. Within 1 year of implementing Operation Hold the Line, crime statistics across the city of El Paso were reduced 15% across the board. Here in the downtown area, petty theft, residential burglary, and auto burglary were reduced 85%. Illegal entry was reduced 74%. Now in 2018, the chain link infrastructure that has been in place has begun to deteriorate. It is easily breached by smugglers and expensive for us to constantly repair. At the same time, we are seeing a significant increase in the number of illegal entries in this area. Just as we were 25 years ago, we remain committed to the security of this section of the border and to this community. Last week, we began preliminary work on a new 4-mile section of bollard wall to replace the dilapidated chain link fence. This new wall will be far more durable and far more effective in deterring would-be illegal entrants. It is the same design that we currently have in place in Santa Teresa, New Mexico, and in Sunland Park, New Mexico. Construction will occur at 2 different levels. The first level will begin south of this Chihuahuita neighborhood and will continue east directly north of the Rio Grande River. It will extend approximately 1/2 mile to the Paso del Norte Bridge. The second level will begin just east of the Paso del Norte Bridge and will replace the secondary fence south of the American Canal. It will continue east along the American Canal for 3.5 miles and end near the Fonseca Road area. Once the 4 miles of new border wall is complete, we will remove the primary fence along the Rio Grande will be removed. The new border wall will become the new primary barrier. It will be 18 feet high, buried 6 feet into the ground, with 5 feet of concrete underneath. Or excuse me, with an additional 2 feet of concrete underneath. There will be a 5-foot anti-climbing plate at the top. It is made of steel, filled with concrete, and has rebar running through it. The bollard design enables us to see through it as well. The projected end date for this project is April 24th, 2019. In addition to border security, we place a high value on the relationships we have here. In 1993, the same year that the U.S. Border Patrol started Operation Hold the Line, we started hosting an annual Chihuahuita Children's Christmas Party, and we've continued that tradition to this day. We've developed many strong relationships in this community over the years. Since 1924, when the U.S. Border Patrol was established, El Paso Sector agents have lived and worked in El Paso and southern New Mexico communities for generations. Along with our federal partners, we work with the El Paso Police Department, the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, the El Paso Fire Department, El Paso City and County officials, our many partners in New Mexico, the Consul General of Mexico, Policia Federal, the Juarez Police Department, and others. Together we enforce the rule of law and the safety of residents on both sides of this border. We remain committed to doing so. This new wall is going to help us do it. At this time, I'll take y'all's questions.
Sir, you guys have often called the Chihuahuita area a hot spot, but when the media requests numbers for apprehensions here, we're told that the numbers are not releasable. So how do we know that this is a hot spot? How many people do you guys apprehend in this area?
We don't release, the reason you're told that is we do not release station level numbers. We release apprehension numbers, seizure numbers by sector. And there's different reasons for why we do that, but you're actually talking about a subsection of El Paso Station's area of operation. We want to make sure that our numbers are accurate. We vet these before we release these to y'all, and part of the reason we release them in the way that we do is to ensure that they are indeed accurate.
So how do you know that this is a hot area, a Chihuahuita area?
Well, ma'am, we work here. We do this for a living. This isn't a political or philosophical discussion for us, and we call it the way we see it. Traffic is heavy here, and we're taking steps to reduce that. Yes, sir.
Who conducts your research?
Who conducts our research?
Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
As far as where you get your numbers, you said 85% of crime in this area has gone down. Where who conducted that research?
That was after we implemented Hold the Line in 1993. Those are based on FBI statistics from that time.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
with respect to the asylum seekers, they're often, looking for y'all to turn themselves in to law enforcement. So, if that's the case, how is a barrier going to stop that? I mean, I understand stopping people to try to elude you all and jump over the fence, but if somebody's looking for you guys to turn themselves in, like many asylum seekers do, how is the fence a solution to slowing down those numbers?
Well, the proper way to do that is, the proper way to enter the United States, regardless of your intentions, is through a port of entry. And for those seeking to request asylum, there's an embassy and 9 consulates in Mexico, for example. Most of the people are traveling through that area. They have plenty of opportunities to apply for asylum properly, rather than risk themselves, our agents, and these communities by affecting illegal entry, paying smugglers to do that, and furthering transnational criminal organizations.
But if they keep the practice of just showing up without going to those embassies, how is the wall going to stop them?
Well, the wall it makes it harder to enter illegally, and it reduces illegal entries. It's been proven time and time again from our statistics. It bears it out. We're already seeing a significant benefit from the wall we put out in Santa Teresa. It's not completed yet, but just the fact that all the 20 miles of panels have been put up, we've seen a reduction. Santa Teresa in April was our busiest station. Now El Paso Station is our busiest station. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
We see the steel fence in El Paso area and some areas for a long time. And you call this a hotspot area. Why it has taken so long to conceal this type of area in Chihuahua, this area?
Well, all the steps we have taken have reduced traffic over time. The problem is this physical barrier is deteriorating. For example, I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a hole. When you see the poles, we discovered a new hole cut last night. This is a constant problem for us. All along this fence, you see that lower barrier, those are constant repairs that we have to pay to have done. On a nightly basis, smugglers cut holes in this fence and to continue their entry into the United States. This new wall that we're putting in place is going to eliminate that problem because it's just not as easy to cut through or get over. We're not saying it's going to stop all illegal entries. It's going to make them far more difficult. Next question.
But I mean, the steel fence structure that we have in other areas, they were installed years ago. But in this area, why until now?
Well, we prioritize. If you look at where we put the first 20 miles of bollard wall out in Santa Teresa, all we had out there were barriers to vehicular entry. People could simply walk through, underneath, or over them. And it was our busiest area. We put up that section of wall to try to reduce traffic in that area. Now our concern is in this area as well, where we still have illegal entries. And if you look at this environment, if you look at where we're standing, this is what we call seconds to minutes area. This means that when illegal entry occurs, we have seconds to minutes to interdict it before these individuals can conceal themselves within the community here and continue their entry further into the United States. So it's a different type of concern for us. The volume of traffic might not be as high in other areas. The problem is it's difficult for us to interdict it. This wall is going to make it that much easier for us to do so and prevent them from trying to enter in the first place.
Sir, I have a question about the type of fencing that is going to be replaced.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about holes being cut in fences. You're talking about the country of the
Yes.
This is normal chain link fencing.
Yes.
However, the press release mentions that this expansion will go all the way up to Fonseca.
Yes.
I live in the area. The type of fencing we have out there is the big now brown fencing that we also have over next to the Old Fort Bliss. Is that the fencing also being replaced, or is it only the chain link fencing?
All of the existing deteriorating fencing is going to be replaced out to with this 18 miles of bollard wall, or excuse me, 4 miles of bollard wall. It will be 18 feet high. I've described it already, but I know the structure you're talking about. This new structure is far superior to that one as well.
What's the height on the other part of the wall that you're going to be removing, or the metal fencing? Not the chain link, but down on Fonseca that he's referring to?
Do we know the height of the wall that we're removing? Oh, okay. I misunderstood the question earlier. To clarify, it's the wall is going to join up with the existing fence out there. What we're removing, I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question. What we're removing is this dilapidated chain link. It's going to join up out there when we get to the Fonseca Road area.
Okay.
This area is known for a project called Hugs Not Walls with the Border Network for Human Rights, and they coordinate a lot with the Mexican authorities to reunite families once or twice a year down in this area here. Are you going to continue to work with the community on projects like that once this wall is complete?
Yes, ma'am. We are actively involved in the community and working with the community. Now, we have to also be clear that if when we engage in conversations about what we're being asked to do, it has to be within the framework of what we're doing here. This is a border security solution, and everyone has the right to express their opinion, but when you ask us for certain things like access and to stage certain events, we have to look at the impact it's going to have on our border security posture. But we remain actively involved with members of the community. We meet with them regularly.
One more question.
Sir, we know that this is going to be a bollard wall, but what about the prototypes that are being built in San Diego? Any word on that?
Well, we took a look at the prototypes in San Diego before we put this bollard wall in place in Santa Teresa. Actually, if y'all have been to Sunland Park, what we first used to refer to as the Anapra section, it's the same model that's in place there. It's the same model that's being built out at Santa Teresa, and it's what we're going to put here. We prefer that design. There were multiple designs they looked at out in San Diego. We prefer this design, and we think it's going to get the job done for us here.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you very much.
All right, y'all. Thank you again.